So, I can't be the only one who's in denial about Spider-Man 2, right? Like, we can come together and say it was a good game, but for those who waited, we have to agree it's not exactly what we wanted. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Spider-Man 2 is an amazing game. Visually stunning. Gameplay, really fun. Really inventive. I love how they do a lot of the things, but I can't shake this constant feeling that just something about it isn't right. The game came out not too long ago, but we're nearing a year, and I finished it in the first 2 days it came out. Like, this is, when I started playing it, here's the first trophy, and this is when I 100%ed it. So, I got done with it pretty quickly. And let me be clear, that doesn't make the game bad. It really doesn't. I still think this game is really good, and it has been a very long time since I've played it. So maybe we can, I don't know, appreciate it. Maybe I should have sat with it and savored the moment. But I do feel like the game was extremely rushed. I feel like Peter doesn't have the symbiote very long. I think canonically in the game he has it for like 3 days. And then we get rid of it. And then Venom... Isn't it like the next night that like we defeat Venom? I think I should fairly go into what I think makes the game good. Visually, again, incredible. Like, look, it's insane how far we've come in gaming. I love the story for the most part. I love the interactions between characters. I love the symbiote gameplay. I think all of it is really fun, really new, and really inventive. But I think the game is fairly rushed, as I've already stated. I didn't get enough time to really care for interactions between characters. I didn't get enough time to really care why Peter wearing this suit is a bad thing. I know it's a bad thing because I know what lies ahead. I'm a comic reader. I know about Venom. I know why it's a bad thing. Plus, Peter not acting himself is actively not the greatest thing ever. But in terms of the game's story, it kind of just makes Peter into, like, a douchebag, and that's why it's bad. That's kind of the premise, I guess. To be honest, I didn't really care for Harry either, which is kind of important. Because, yeah, the first game builds up on him a lot, then you get that post-credit scene where you're like, whoa, he was here the whole time, and then they go into that a little more in Spider-Man Miles Morales. But I'm supposed to care about Harry through Peter. But I, the player, don't really care about Harry. I know that's, like, odd to say, but, like, I really don't. I think Harry was integral to the story, but he had really no other reason to be there other than, how do we get this symbiote to Peter? I thought the ending was extremely rushed. I thought Peter getting the anti-venom was very odd, but it was cool, because, you gotta keep the symbiote in there, because if you just took the symbiote away, then nobody would play Peter. Everyone would just play Miles. Because that was the biggest fear about Spider-Man 2, is Peter going to be worthwhile playing? Because Miles' gameplay was so much better in Miles Morales, and yeah, he was amazing. It was really fun to play as Peter because of Venom. So allow me to now get into what I personally think would make Spider-Man 2 greater. What could make it better? Number one, we'll start off small, and then we'll go into some nitpicky things. Number one, I kind of wish they added all the suits from the other games into this one. It appears in the update that came out literally as I'm filming this. They're adding the old suits back as well as some new ones, which is really cool, really nice, and I really hope they continue to do that. Please keep updating the game with the old suits. A lot of those suits were really cool, and we want to see them in-game, especially with this game's photo mode. It's really fun, really innovative, and I love taking photos of this game. In fact, Here are a bunch of photos that I took when playing this game, because I'm a little artsy-fartsy. But over time, again, it seems like they are fixing that. Another issue I have is I feel like a lot of characters died in this game. 6 integral villains died in this game. And that's like, it's whatever. Characters die all the time. But we only see one of those happen on screen. The other characters kind of just die off screen. And you never get really any story with them. You get those cute little audio recordings. I really wish I could see Shocker's fight with Kraven, because apparently Shocker is the only one that put up a fight because he was like an animal. He was moving like he wanted to survive. Can I see that, please? Instead, I just get to see Scorpion get destroyed, literally fatality'd, and that was it. Which, granted, is cool, it's whatever, but, I kind of wanted to see that. You're telling me that, all the Sinister Six die off screen. Mr. Negative is the only one that survives. There's a not even behind the scenes, if you go outside the map, apparently, you could find Rhino's head on a wall. That's not even in the game. Is that canon or not? Is Rhino alive? Did you just kill the Rhino off screen? Tiny nitpick. I kind of wish we got more Black Cat in this game. I know it's super Spider-Man, Web of Shadows, but I really wish we got, a story between Black Cat and Peter and MJ, especially since Peter has the symbiote, which is going to make him do a lot more dirtier, gruntier, and just more negative things. And honestly, I would be down for that kind of love triangle. I know it's cliche and stupid, but I would love to have seen it. Especially since this game is very much inspired by a much better symbiote Spider-Man game. Another minor thing that I would have loved, but I don't really hate the game for doing it, I would have loved to see some of the villains we get symbiotes. A big thing in the end of the game is, you gotta go around fighting new monsters and new symbiotes because Venom is letting loose and he's kind of just gooning everywhere. But how cool would it have been to see, Kraven go out and fight villains as symbiotes? How come I didn't get to fight Black Cat as a symbiote? How come I can't fight... I don't know, he killed half the... I guess the answer to that question is Kraven, I guess, killed the entire villain roster anyway, so there was no point in making them symbiotes because they were all dead to begin with, which is crazy. That is a crazy explanation to why I can't see Scorpion, Rhino, Electro, Black Cat, Shocker, Taskmaster, fucking Screwball, for all I care. There are so many villains already established in this world, and it's not even about Venom, it's about Kraven. Everyone fears Kraven. Everyone wants to get away from Kraven. That's the main reason why you fight Sandman in the beginning of the game, is because he fears Kraven. He broke out and was like, dude, throw me in prison. If Kraven gets me, it's over. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? It's because Kraven's already bopped 6 characters who we didn't get to see Venomized, which sucks. Again, minor nitpick. Would have been really cool. I sound very passionate about this just because I love Web of Shadows so much, and I would have loved a chance to fight the Sinister Six as symbiotes. Granted, we get to fight Shriek, Scream, whoever, as Mary Jane's Venom. That's cool, and that was definitely a shock. And heck, even the anti-Venom suit and powers was definitely a shock. I didn't see that coming, but Mysterio was out there. And all these other villains. The Lizard, a Venomized Lizard. That sounds amazing. But granted, it wouldn't work, I guess, because of Lizard Shriek. They thought of a lot. They thought of everything, really. And I just kind of hoped that we would get that. I'm rambling, but that's kind of the point of this video. It's an essay. Who cares? This one, I don't think is a nitpick at all. It kind of changes the story a little bit, and I really, really wish they would have done this. Huge missed opportunity, and that is the infamous press X to rise. And if you don't know what that is, here you go. So in both the comics and the game, Kraven kills Peter, but I would have loved an opportunity where the game at Peter's grave said, press X to rise. Rise out of the grave. Come back from the dead as Spider-Man with the symbiote. Yeah, that changes the story a lot because Peter obviously got the symbiote from Harry, but I really would have loved. It would have made it more impactful if Peter actually died, and then, like, you know, the symbiote brought you back, they had a funeral for Peter and everything, you play as Miles for a little bit, then all of a sudden you loom over that grave, and it says, press X to rise, and you pull yourself out of the ground, and then you have the symbiote. And then everyone's like, whoa, what happened? How did this happen? You have the symbiote, which would make Peter a lot more inclined to keep the symbiote, because in the game, he really just turns out of nowhere. He's like, destroy us? You want to destroy us? Out of nowhere. And I get it's because it makes him more powerful. It makes me a better Spider-Man! But, like, the game doesn't really show that. It tells that. Out of nowhere, Peter's like, whoa, this feels good. And then the next minute, he's throwing buses at people and going, where? And all that. Like, he's unleashing his full Map Pat. And it feels extremely out of left field. I would have wanted at least like 8 hours of gameplay of Peter using the symbiote and actually watching him get angrier and angrier, making mistakes and making issues. If Peter would have let that person die on the roller coaster and Harry didn't save her, that would have made more sense for Peter to be like, I'm a bad Spider-Man, everyone I love dies, everyone I try and save dies, I'm a bad Spider-Man, Miles is better than me, there's nothing I can do, I suck, I'm horrible, I need this because it makes me a better Spider-Man. But no, like, nothing really causes Peter to go berserk at all. Nothing really stems Peter to just be like, you know, I need this. Legit, in the game, you've played it. If you haven't, I don't know why you're watching this video. All I'm doing is rambling about nothing. In the context of the game, Kraven kills you. You get the symbiote via Harry. Harry starts dying. And then as Peter, you're going around trying to fight the lizard and trying to get Harry's cure. As you're fighting the lizard and as you're being attacked over and over, you get angry because you can't save your best friend. Then, you know, one night you just attack everyone you know and love and become a monster. And then the next day, they're like, wow, Pete... Like, they're so nonchalant about it. They're like, wow, Pete... Like, you chased me all night, told me to run, and you were going to kill me. You were going to murder me, boyfriend who I love so much. And he's like, yeah? Why don't you take some pills and tell me how you really feel? How about you keep dying, best friend who I almost lost due to some serious illness, and I took away his only way of staying alive? Tell me how you really feel. And it's so out of character. It's so out of pocket. I really don't understand what turns Peter, like, evil within the span of 3 days. Literally, it goes from, wow, this suit, it feels so good. This is why your family left you. I need it. It makes me a better Spider-Man. Like, I want more of that. I really want more of Peter turning evil. But I guess that's kind of the thing of, you need to play the side missions during the game, which the side missions kind of feel like DLC, or at least they exist to set up DLC, especially that Wraith one with Carnage, which I thought all the symbiote die in the end of the game, so how are we making a Venom game and a Carnage DLC? I don't know. Maybe I'm just grasping for straws on how to make a game I love so much good, or maybe I'm just trying to convince you the game's bad at this point. I really love this game. I just genuinely wish I got some more out of it, especially with a game this high of a caliber. Like, Kraven's Last Hunt and Venom taking over New York in the same game, and I beat it 100%, like 42 trophies in 17 hours. That doesn't compute. That doesn't make sense. I'm excited for these games to go forward, but I do heavily feel like this game was rushed. And that kind of brings me to one of my last points. Alright. I could go on and on about this game, but I think what I want to do is I want to play it again and maybe make a follow-up video on why this game is really good. Does that sound fair? Cool, whatever. The ending. The ending was extremely rushed. Like, you fight Peter. Really good fight, by the way. I love that part. It was actually the biggest thing I was most excited for in the game was playing as Miles and fighting Peter and having a very powerful thing, but even then it felt very underwhelming, ripping the suit off, because Peter's just like, you know, he just rips it off, and then they bottle it, and Peter's like, wow, thanks, man! You really had my back there. You're a great Spider-Man, better than I am. And it's like, okay, Peter. Like, we agree, but that was out of left field. And then you bring the symbiote back to Harry for some reason, and you say, no, we gotta destroy it, which you probably should have just hid the symbiote or destroyed it before bringing it back to Harry, which causes Harry to play as Venom, which, by the way, before the game came out, I said if we play as Venom, I will turn my head in shame because that seemed too predictable. Granted, they made it very fun. It was actually kind of funny, too. It was just like a great mission. And then fighting Kraven as Venom, really good. But then, Harry takes over the world, you get the anti-Venom suit, and then Venom grows wings and you're back at Midtown High. And that's kind of it, you know? That's it. You kill Harry. You defeat him. I guess kill him is... You don't really do that.
Lots happened in the last 10 years.
But then Norman's like, activate
I'm even sitting here now.
the Goblin Serum, and then he meets up with Otto, and he says, I'm putting together a team, and Otto's like, dude, I did that in the first game. The fuck are you talking about?
Gonna heal.
And that's the end. It like... The story feels so rushed that when the credits hit, I was like, huh. And you can go on my channel, go to playlists, and see the Spider-Man 2 story. It's all live streams, because I just belted it out as fast as I could, because I was so excited to play that game. And it was my most anticipated game of last year. And, you know, at least it did really good with awards and stuff, you know? I think one of the best things I heard was Spider-Man 2 came out in the worst year for gaming. Meaning that there were so many games that came out last year that were so high and they were so crazy that, you know, it just couldn't compete. And for me, that sounds like I'm in denial. I love this game. I love this game so much, and that's why I'm so upset that, you know, I'm in denial myself. My last point I'll bring up about the final fight, and then I'll get out of your hair. Watch the trailer we got. It's called, quote, the hype trailer here.
The city's being torn apart. I don't know if I'm strong enough to save it. Do I have what it takes to protect the people I love? You never gave up. Never backed down.
Neither will I. This is my power.
My responsibility. I am Spider-Man.
See what I mean? Like, that was crazy. That was really cool, and I really wish that was kind of the fight we had, you know? Venom throwing us around the city, destroying everything around, and you and Miles come together to use your powers to stop him. And you kind of do. You know, you kind of come together and use your powers. But it's not really to the caliber and expectations you would have. I don't really know too much about what to say about it. But at the end of the day, I do really like this game. And I suggest everyone who is a Spider-Man fan should play it, because it is definitely one of the best Spider-Man games we have out there. I do really think, though, that Sony is kind of rushing Insomniac for these games. Like, things are getting canceled left and right with Insomniac. Spider-Man Miles Morales was a 6-hour-long story, and I truly think the only reason why Spider-Man Morales came out was just so Insomniac had a game out for the, you know, the PS5. And because of that, we had a really rushed game. Good story, and, like, good little DLC for Miles. Like, I'm glad we got it, because I love the game. I kind of just want a director's cut of Spider-Man 2, and I really hope we get one. Comment down below your thoughts and what would make Spider-Man 2 a greater game. Be greater, be great yourself, be greater together, I think is the tagline, right? I don't know, it doesn't say on here yet. Ah, yeah, it does. Have a good one.